Welcome to our show host series. This week, we're talking about a pretty niche tool for podcasters that has become so useful, and this is a promotional video, and I'm delighted to do it because I think one of the biggest questions we get asked as an agency, as a production house for podcasters, especially for chat shows that run long and have a lot of dialogue, is like, what's the best way to get show notes, transcripts, titles, keywords, summary paragraphs, timestamps, quotes? Like, is there an easy way to have all of that copy generated without your editor writing all of it? Now, historically, real quick history lessons, since I've been making podcasts for 10 years, there wasn't an easy way. You literally had to have your editor listen through the entire recording and take show notes. And I did this for years. When I was an editor early on in my career, I would literally manually take the show notes. I wouldn't write the transcription. We would send that off to a service that would have humans listen to the file and transcribe it. But we're not where we were 10 years ago. And so all the time with all of our AI developments coming out, there is a big question I get that's like, do you have a good option for a DIYer or for an agency? Like, we recommend this across the board, professionals, DIYers, hobbyists. How do I get transcripts, titles, copy, show notes, everything without having an editor go through the whole file? Because that's time intensive and expensive if you're not already doing it. Like, if you don't already have that built into your team's workflow. So I'm delighted to tell you what we've been using for the last several months at our agency. And this is after testing out several different services. And we have settled on a company called Swell. Swell.ai is the name of their website, and you can go to our affiliate link in the comments. Yes, it's an affiliate link. Not only do we do a high volume of podcast episodes because we're an agency and a studio and we make a lot of content for many clients every week, but because we're an agency that specializes in chat shows, specifically with people, like interesting personas, our episodes for most of our clients tend to run like 20 to 60 minutes. So baseline, we get a great transcript, nicely formatted from Swell when we run the audio file through. And it's literally as simple as copy paste to get that into our show notes doc to deliver to the client so that they can just copy paste it onto the blog post for their episode. And that's a really important thing for accessibility. So people who maybe English isn't their native language, they might have hearing impairment, a variety of reasons. There's people who just learn better by being able to read along to an audio or a video file. And so having a transcript of your podcast episode is just at a basic level very smart for accessibility to make your show available to many more people in a digestible format. But it also, like I said, really helps boost the search engine optimization of your entire blog post or your entire website. The second thing we really appreciate and we like getting from Swell versus other services is the kinds of titles that it generates. So after we run an episode through Swell, it will generate about 5 different titles suggested for the episode. And these are keyword rich, meaning they'll do well on like YouTube search results and also people searching podcast apps. So Swell is generating those for us. And we just scan through and pick the one we know kind of best fits our client's show. Very easy, very helpful. Back in the day when this wasn't an option, I can't tell you how much back and forth I would do with clients over the title of their episode because they could just hem and haw for a long time and like get in their head about like, well, is this title good enough? Is it going to capture enough attention? Do we have the right words in it? One of the other things that's extremely helpful about Swell is it will generate a summary paragraph of the episode. So this is pulling from the transcript. You know, the AI service is like looking at everything that was talked about, and then it's generating, you know, maybe like a 5 to 10 sentence summary paragraph that just says, hey, in this episode, this person talks to this person about these things. To be able to have that just at your fingertips, like you don't have to start from scratch. Super helpful and time saving. And we use it all the time for like all of our clients now. We're just like, hey, here's a summary paragraph. I usually recommend we put that in the podcast listening app episode description. So it's like what will pull up on your phone in Spotify or Apple Podcasts. When you click on the episode, you can read that little blurb super quick just to have like some context about what you're about to listen to. So those three things are like my absolute must-have basics that Swell does really well. And again, after trying a few different of these show note services that are AI supported, we were like, this is actually our best option. The other things we use, and this kind of depends on the client, it's so nice to have though. We oftentimes use the time-stamped topical show notes. So that's where, if you've ever watched a YouTube video or you've looked in the show notes of a podcast and it'll be like at minute 4, second 12, they talk about this. That I used for years. I would manually create that when I was an editor. But I really like how Swell generates them. Like it's just helpful, clear, easy to follow. There's enough words there that you know what they're talking about. It's not like, super basic. The other things that can be really helpful that we offer to clients are quotes. Swell will generate many of those, so you can just scan through really quick and like pick the ones you think are the best. And then they have a whole other section that we don't use as much because our clients typically write all their own social copy. But for some people who don't have a big team and are just starting out, it is so helpful to have a bunch of different social media post captions written out. And Swell will do that for any platform you want. So there are even more features to Swell that we haven't even fully tapped into yet. There's a bunch of customization you can do. And I just wanted to turn this feature, this tool on to you because we've been using it for several months with our clients. It saves us so much time. And I wanted you to know that like we actually did do some research and we spent several months trying out different services because a lot of services popped up when these tools became available to the mass public. And we knew that they wouldn't all be created equal and there are good options, but it can take a lot of time if you have to go through and like try everyone. And you probably heard about several others. And, you might find one that you love even more. I'm just letting you know for Worthful Media, for our team, for our agency, we've picked Swell as the best one and the best fitting one for us. We've really liked the accuracy, the consistency, the storage. So that's why I'm doing a promo video specifically for Swell because I do think it's worth it for you to know about. And I don't mind having an affiliate link if you want to check it out in the video description. What is helpful for you to know as a show host, like at any time you're watching this, is anything that's been costing you a lot of time, like if you're finding part of your production process, whether it's you or your team, kind of really eating a lot of time, I encourage you to either leave a comment on the video and ask for recommendations or shoot us an email. Feel free to email Christine at Worthful Media or just start looking online because chances are with the times we live in and the rapid evolution of technology and AI supported services, the most time sucky things you're doing right now probably already have a solution to help you eliminate it. And if you haven't kind of updated your processes recently, or if you've kind of just been doing things the same way for the last couple of years and you're feeling like, gosh, this takes a lot of time. I wish I could make this more efficient. Someone's probably already figured out how to do that. I'm not joking. So feel free to leave a comment if you want specific suggestions. If you're like, this is still clunky for me, or I'm spending a lot of time doing this, happy to share any resources. Today's resource is about Swell, which is our current favorite show notes AI supported service. It's way more important that we're thinking about how to make great content than like how much time it's going to take to write show notes or come up with the titles or where are we going to get the transcript. Like the days of kind of geeking out about all those little tiny nitty gritty things, in my opinion, are sort of over. And I'm speaking from experience. Like I started making podcasts in 2014. And so I've kind of seen this evolution. And if you're still spending a lot of time in the nitty gritty, I highly recommend pulling yourself out and stop obsessing over things like copy and transcript accuracy and start thinking way more about collaboration, how to get in front of the audiences that you're actually trying to speak to, making really great, interesting episodes because AI is quickly helping us take care of all of these tedious nitty-gritty tasks. And I just want you to be open to the fact that like it won't be exactly like a human did it. That's not the point. It's like if we have limited time or budget or we don't have like a full marketing team at our disposal to write gorgeous copy for every episode, let's use the tools at hand. Okay, that's our tip for this week. I will come back to you in a new video next week.